Welcome to the Seraphine podcast. I'm Seraphine Arocha, and I'm here with, again, Miss Chelsey Atia. Hello,
Hi.
hello.
Hello.
And we are discussing Bottoms Up, episode 3 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
This is a good one.
This was a really good episode. It started out on a really good note because we've got the wrap-up of the girl, you are not the person who sees no color conversation.
Yeah.
I think Sutton handled it okay. I think she got way too defensive.
Yeah.
I think Crystal did a good job of talking to her about the why behind her and Garcelle's point of view.
Right.
Kyle played very much Switzerland, but I think Kyle felt like she already had the tough conversation with Garcelle and didn't want to get too dirty in this conversation. She did defend Sutton to some degree.
Yeah.
But she didn't do it too much because I think she knew it was going to be a losing battle.
Yeah. And then I think going on, I think it was the next morning, Sutton and Crystal have a conversation about it. And I think Sutton really had time to think things over. And so the conversation was a little bit more like calm and understanding on both sides, because I really applauded Crystal in this situation because she really allowed herself to see what Sutton was trying to say in that moment. And I could tell she wasn't trying to judge her and really was trying to hear it out. And I think it was a very productive conversation. Yeah. And I think Sutton learned a lot from it.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I think that it's so funny when you see people in situations to where someone is calling them out on something and how someone handles being called out. Obviously, our first kind of instinct is to be defensive, to defend our behavior. In this situation, I felt like Crystal did more of the work than Sutton.
Yeah.
I wish Sutton it wouldn't have taken Sutton so long to get to the point, to get to the understanding of what Crystal was trying to convey to her. And, the other thing is that, the whole conversation about privilege, it's a tough one to have with people who truly believe that they aren't, that even though they have privilege, that everybody has the opportunity for that. I just feel like there was just a little bit of stuff lingering in the air with Sutton, but Crystal really did this great way of exiting out so they could enjoy the rest of the trip.
Yes.
Then, Bravo goes to filler and the scene of the bikes.
Yes, but I will say there's two things that I loved about this. Garcelle's outfit, she had this like amazing red pleather pants on. I was like, yes, girl. I loved it. And then it was so cute because they kind of like separated into the four ladies, which was Dorit, Crystal, Lisa, and Erica, that wanted to go fast.
Yep.
And then the other three that wanted to go slow, which was Kyle, Sutton, and
Kathy didn't even show up.
It was Kyle, Sutton, and Garcelle.
Garcelle, that's right.
But it was so cute because Dorit, I love how she's like being more of a girl's girl now, because she's like, do you want me to, is everyone okay with me not pressing the brake when we go downhill? And they're all like, yeah. And she's like, I love my girls.
So totally. I
it
feel
was
like
so cute.
It is cool to see Dorit a little bit less in control.
Yes.
And a little bit more trusting of her friendship.
Especially with Erica. I'm loving this friendship. They have so much in common.
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as they figure it out, they're going to be great friends. So I'm glad to see that happening.
It was really lovely. And then I love when they come back from this excursion. And of course, the girls who really like worked out were all like, we're like going to go lay down.
Yeah.
And then the ones who were kind of chilling. It was interesting. Sutton and Kyle and who else was in there? Garcelle, the three of them, and Kathy.
Yeah.
You can tell that they probably had a good time together on the little car ride to keep going with the conversation. Plus, I guess they weren't that worn out.
Yeah.
So, but then they go into this interesting conversation, and Paris, Kathy's daughter,
Paris Hilton,
gets brought up.
Yeah.
And Garcelle basically called it out and was like, you know what? I actually thought that, frankly, I wasn't having it. Paris seemed kind of rude. She's always on her phone wherever she's at an event.
Yeah.
And it was an interesting explanation when Kathy talked about her anxiety.
I just got the feeling that Garcelle was not a fan of Paris because she also kind of made fun of her voice too.
Oh, yeah.
She said, I feel like Paris, as she's gotten older, she has this like deeper voice now. And Kathy's like, I think she's just more comfortable in who she is.
Yeah.
And I just got the feeling Garcelle was not a fan. So when she found out that Paris actually had some social anxiety, I think she kind of felt a little bit bad about it.
Yeah. Well, it's a defense mechanism. And I also think that, again, a decade is a proper amount of time being older. And I actually think Garcelle is just a little bit more than that. I think she's almost in the 15-year age difference with Paris.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, I see it at my age where I'll look at women in their mid-20s and I'll be like, you know, oh my gosh, like they should be better than this. And I'm like, well, how was I at 25?
Yeah.
I had a lot of insecurities. There were a lot of things I did that I'm like, God, I probably came off as, you know, kind of a jerk, you know? And I feel like, again, there's been such a big window of time and Paris has grown up. I mean, we can see from all of the stuff that has been out in the media and her film that she put out on YouTube about her life. Yeah. You just see that she's grown.
Yeah. I mean, she's like 40 years old now.
Yeah,
I mean, she still looks 25, but she is 40. So she's definitely learned a lot in her life.
Totally. But we have this beautiful little, conversation that doesn't go south.
Right.
And then we go to dinner.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Take us into this, Chelsey.
So they're having this wonderful dinner that Lisa Rinna planned, and they just look like they're having a good time. Kathy is a joker, and she likes to play this game where they pretend like they're drinking a martini and they chug it, but it's really just water. That's really not really a big part of this. I mean, kind of, but basically they're trying to prank each other, and Sutton doesn't really know. She's like, you can see her, like the camera pans to her and she's kind of like, she looks like she's freaking out a little bit because she can tell, when you are at a dinner, I will be fair to Sutton, and you can tell that two people are texting.
Yep.
You get a little bit like, why are we being secretive about this?
Yeah.
So I will say I can understand that. That would be a little bit annoying, especially if you do feel like you're the only one not in on this. But, once you realize what it's about and it's not even about you, just let it go. You don't have to react
She is an open wound.
Yes.
Like, you can tell there's so many things going on with Sutton.
Yeah.
And we don't know the half of it.
Exactly.
I mean, we get a little bit. I mean, it's a big deal to be moving from a house that you had all your life to another house. Then on top of it, she's somebody who, she spends an exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah.
You can tell she is always wanting to prove herself, giving very generous with her money, giving gifts to all the women.
Always bringing gifts.
But then she does things that are so counterintuitive, like when they have the scene, where they're on the balcony talking about Paris.
Yeah.
She comes out with these $2,000 slippers.
Yeah.
And again, it's this weird thing of like, okay, well, you're having progressive conversations. We think you're kind of understanding, like, hey, this is the impression you give with your Southern ways and, not seeing color in your $2,000 slippers. It's hard to get comfortable when you're like, everything that you are presenting is very privileged and kind of over the top, and then you're so defensive. And then in this scene where they're just they're taking the piss out of each other with literally water, shots of cocktails and trying to get the other girls to do shots.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm out of the joke. I'm like, take a breath.
The real drama happens in the van on the way home, because she doesn't really know what's going on, and Crystal kind of like taps her and was like, tells her what's going on. I think that part pissed her off because it was Crystal.
Yeah.
And then her getting out of the van, and she was acting like a 2-year-old that was throwing a temper tantrum. And Crystal, I felt for her because she's like, get me out of this van right now. Like, I felt like I would have been the same way. She has no patience for Sutton. Sutton's a grown woman. And for you to react that way is, she just was dying for attention.
And Crystal gave her so much grace with the obviously uncomfortable conversation of the color blindness.
Yeah.
I'm like, my my patience would be zero. I'd
Yeah.
be like, girl, I have tried, but this is embarrassing.
I would have had no patience because I wouldn't have even acknowledged it if I was Crystal or anyone in that situation. Like Kyle's kind of coddling her a little bit, even though she's telling her like Crystal's or Sutton says like, I'm a grown woman. She said, well, start acting like it.
Totally.
I'm like, yeah, like how old are you? Why are we crying over this?
And at that point, I think Kyle just wanted to like defuse a situation and
Yeah.
get Sutton in bed because Sutton was not going to enjoy the rest of the night.
No.
She just wanted to put a bomb in it and make a point of everyone hurt her. And it's like, okay, thanks for being that person.
Yeah. It was just interesting that the drama is coming from like the people that normally don't have a lot of drama and like the people that normally do, like Erica and Dory and especially Lisa Rinna are kind of just like dumbfounded. They're like, what is going on?
It's going to be amazing to see how the trip ends up.
Yeah.
Because this was so awkward and they all looked so amazing and glamorous. And it was such a great fun. Like I loved how Dorit was just freaking going in. Like
Yeah.
all the fun people. Like again, during this trip, I feel like Dorit's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like Rinna is having fun.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like Kyle is like in between it.
Yep.
And I feel like Garcelle and Sutton are sensitive, but
Yep.
Garcelle's really trying to man up. Kathy's just clueless and having the time of her frickin' life. I mean,
Probably really drunk the whole time.
and Crystal wants to just let go and just be
Yeah.
a part of the group.
She's trying to get to know everyone.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens on episode 4. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. And if you have any comments about Our Ladies from Beverly Hills, please drop them at the bottom. And we'll definitely dish and discuss more. See you later.